All right, guys, Darren from FBA Elite, and welcome back to another video. So one of the questions I get asked quite frequently is how long does it really take to start an Amazon FBA business and start coining in all of those profits that we've been promised on YouTube? So in this video, I'm going to share with you my own experience based on discovering Amazon FBA in 2018, but also I'm going to show you the most efficient route you can take as well. So I know I've called it the rush route, and I don't want that to sound derogatory. It's just for some of these, not all of them, but for some of the things that I'll be mentioning, if you do choose the shortest path, sometimes it doesn't put you in the best position for long-term success. But we'll get to each one as we go through this table. So up first, we have research and training. So when you first discover Amazon FBA, the first thing you're going to need to do is spend a certain amount of time learning more about Amazon FBA. Now, when I first discovered it, I spent a couple of weeks actually trying to find out whether it was a viable business or just a scam. Well, if you're watching this video, and most of you guys have been subscribed to the channel for a long time, I can assure you Amazon FBA is not a scam. It is a genuine business opportunity. So save yourself a week or two doing that. It is a genuine business opportunity, but you do still need to spend time doing the full research and training. So you can either do it for free, like I did. I used YouTube, I used Google, various forums. You guys are lucky because you have the FBAelite.com forums now, so make sure you sign up there if you're not already a member. I didn't have those, as FBA Elite didn't exist when I started my FBA journey. Alternatively, you can go the course route. Now, the course route, a lot of people do go for. It does cost to buy a course. However, most courses will be structured and up to date, and you don't have to guess what is right and wrong like I was when I was subscribed to a multitude of Amazon FBA YouTube channels. I didn't know what advice I could trust. But if you do go the course route, in theory, you should be getting some really good structured, up-to-date information, which will make your learning process a lot quicker. So I've put 1 to 2 weeks if you do go the course route. We then have product research. So it took me around about 4 weeks to find the product that I eventually ended up launching. It maybe would have been slightly quicker, but I did choose an alternative product to start with, but at the last minute decided not to launch it due to seasonality issues. So I launched the second product that I found. Well, I say the second product I found, I think I'd gone through hundreds of products before I actually chose products to launch. So it's the second product that I really looked into properly that I launched. Now, if things go well and you've got all the information you need from a good course, then you could find a good product within as little as 1 to 2 weeks. But I would recommend taking a bit longer than that, because the chances are the products you start finding in weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 will look a lot better on paper than the products you thought were good in the first week or two of product research. So the more product research you do, the better you'll get at it, and the better you'll be at analysing potential opportunities. Once you've found a good product, you'll then go through the sample process, so you'll contact suppliers and get them to send you samples. It took me around 8 weeks to do that for both of my products. So again, that could have been shorter because I'd have just focused on one product. Now, if you've got a very straightforward product you're not making lots of customizations to, then the sample process may only take 1 to 2 weeks to get those samples sent over. Now, I'd recommend taking a little bit longer than that, as you might to go through, say, 2 rounds of samples. So usually I do an initial round getting samples from maybe 3 or 4 suppliers, and then a final round of samples from either probably 2 suppliers with my exact specifications, and then I'll pick from those. Next up, you have choosing a brand name. So that took me around about a week to pick a brand name. Now, if things go well, you could pick one as quickly as a day. And the importance of the brand is very much dependent on the type of product you're launching and the niche you are going into. So that is a judgment call you'll have to make yourself, but you certainly can take some time there. And the same applies to setting up a limited company. So it took me around a week to come up with a company name and set it up. But if you already know your company name, or you're going to use the same brand name for your company name, then although I've got 1 day there, actually it'll probably take you about half hour to form your company officially. Up next, we have setting up a business bank account. Now, mine took 3 to 4 weeks because I used a high street bank, so I had to wait, I think it was 2 weeks to actually get a meeting in the first place, and it took another 1 to 2 weeks after that for them to actually set up the account. Now, if you're going with some of the new online providers, maybe such as Starling or Revolut or Tide, whichever one you choose, it could be up and running in as little as a day. So you can definitely save time there if you don't go with a high street bank. You then have the trademark application process. Now, I've got 3 to 4 months for a full application, but I didn't actually apply for my trademark until I started selling. So that didn't delay me at all starting my Amazon FBA business. However, anyone starting an Amazon FBA business now, I always recommend to start their trademark application process as soon as they have decided on their brand name. Now, if you go in the rush route, as I've called it, I've put 1 month. And the main reason for this is generally we apply for a trademark as we want to get brand registered so we can protect our listing. So recently Amazon have changed their brand registry rules, and now in some countries it's possible to apply for brand registry with only a pending trademark, not a fully granted trademark. So that's why the timescale here is shorter if you want to try applying for brand registry with only a pending trademark instead of one that's been fully approved. Now when you do apply for brand registry, that takes around about 1 to 2 weeks for them to approve it, so that's the same regardless. Manufacturing, my supply is around 4 weeks lead time. If you've got a straightforward product or you're not making too many customizations or you found a really good supplier with a short lead time, again, go in the rush route, you might have 1 to 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks or 6 weeks, which some people are waiting. Shipping, I use sea shipping, so 4 weeks on a boat and at least 1 week either side at the port. So potentially this is more like 6 to 8 weeks. Whereas if you're using air freight, it could be 1 to 2 weeks to get the product from China to the Amazon fulfillment center. You then have photography. Mine took around 2 weeks as I had to arrange a location shoot with a professional photographer. So that took some time, and then he had to process the photos, and then when he sent them over to me, I then had to put together the infographic. So it took a good couple of weeks. If you're good with photography, you might want to do it yourself. And if you're not doing infographics, it could take as little as a day. So time could be saved there. You then have your product launch. So it took me around 3 to 4 weeks from launching my product on Amazon to getting it established at the top of the ranks, hitting the goals I had set for that product. And that was in September 2018, which was approximately 7 months after I first discovered Amazon FBA in 2018. Now, if you're going down the more optimal route or the time-saving route, then potentially you could launch a product within 3 months, potentially even shorter. And I'm sure there are people subscribed to this channel who have launched products in a much shorter window. But I do believe the shorter the timescale you try to launch your first product in, the more corners you might be tempted to cut, or the more bad decisions you might make when actually choosing your product, and it will probably decrease your chances of success. And being honest, through the mentorship program that I run on Amazon FBA, people that come to me with problem products that haven't done very well is usually because they rush that part of the process. You know, they're so excited about discovering Amazon FBA, which many of us are, but they rush through the process because they're so eager to get selling that they don't make the best decisions, and that's quite often why they come to me and I try to help them turn their product around. So take your time with your product. Despite the fact we're all eager to launch our businesses, the more time you take, the better your chances are of success. However, don't be one of those guys that never makes a decision, as I know there are people that have been subscribed to my channel for over a year or two that still haven't launched their business, who I'm sure are just reaching for the unsubscribe button. But make sure you keep moving forward your business. Just do it at a good rate that gives you enough chance to make the right decisions. Then finally, the first payment I drew, the first lot of money from my business in April 2019, which is 14 months from first discovering Amazon FBA. And for everyone starting an Amazon FBA business, I would recommend delaying it as long as possible. You want to build the capital up in your business so you can continue to grow the business and make it as stable as possible before you start taking money out of your business. Now, if you do want to know the absolute shortest time for taking out money, that would be after you've sold through your first batch of stock. And if that's made profit, then you can start drawing some of those profits. But by doing so, you're really going to hinder yourself actually growing your business, because you need the profits to grow your capital so you can invest in more stock and in more products. So delay it as long as possible, and that will give you the best chance for long-term success with your Amazon FBA business. So if you found those timescales useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could scroll down, hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to talk to me and over 3,000 Amazon FBA sellers, go to fbaelite.com, sign up. It's completely free, and I'll see you guys on the forums.